Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people.
Right.
You want people to care. You want to strike emotions. And I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one too.
Quarter pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Royale with cheese. Yeah. I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, you're listening to Superhero Speak. And I'm your host Dave.
And John.
And Jay.
And the boys are back again. Woohoo! There was much celebrating. Maybe.
For some.
Well, I could do with some minstrel right now, so.
Some mince?
Minstrel.
Minstrel.
Yes.
Is that
especially if they worked for Sir Robin.
Oh.
Come on, Monty Python?
Yes. Sir Brave Robin? Come on.
Wait. JD?
No, I'm familiar.
Oh, okay.
I just thought you were going somewhere else with that.
Yeah, considering some of the news we're having to deal with, nobody knows what's going to go.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Everyone's wondering what June's gonna bring. Or July.
Vampires.
I was gonna say June brought my birthday, so that's terrible as it is.
Oh, that's right. Wait, did it just pass?
No.
No, it's this week.
No. I mean, yeah, but no.
So happy birthday.
Yeah, birthday.
Uh,
I know what July will bring.
Your
what's
birthday.
that?
Werewolves.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm going to make an announcement right now.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'm going to do a Kickstarter for Harvest Moon. We're going to do a special edition book for it, and we're releasing it on a Kickstarter come early July. So you guys are the first people to hear about it being official. We're gonna, Amazon gives you a good target, but there's not enough horror readers on there. So I'm going to try to reach out to some different people who may not be reading stuff on Amazon.
Can I have this next one?
So
yes, Andrew, you can have that.
That's a really good point, because a lot of independent writers do horror. And you're saying there aren't a lot of horror readers out there.
No, not on Amazon specifically.
Oh,
because,
Amazon, okay.
Well, the easiest thing to do as an indie writer is to go exclusive with Amazon, because you get involved in the KU program, and they treat you pretty good that way. But they tell you don't write horror because the readers aren't there. And I'm just like, you know what? And it's been true. We've done decent, pretty good, but I think that there's more people out there that would dig this. But being locked into Amazon kind of limits you.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. I mean, you say the horror fans aren't there, but Source Point Press is doing quite a bit of horror, and
not that that's for comics though, man. I'm talking that's the issue. Is I'm talking novels specifically, and this is why I went to Kickstarter, because like you say, Source Point Press, there are tons of people in the comic space that do very well with independent horror, but for some reason there's a disconnect when it comes to fiction, independent fiction horror. There's not a lot of it, and it doesn't exactly burn up the charts. There's some. But I mean, when you're playing by the Amazon rules, I mean, for the most part, it's dominated by some type of a romance.
Oh yeah, well.
I look at my also bots, and it's a lot of people that read, shirtless werewolves. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. Those people are making good money, but it's not what I'm looking for. So
but that's a genre killer. That's what happened to a lot of urban fantasy fiction was. It was that the entire genre was kind of overrun by these people, these authors that figured out the formula for, erotic urban fantascy, and suddenly it was all vampires and werewolves, but,
paranormal is the term.
The bodice rippers,
Paranormal romance is paranormal romance is the category, and just calling it paranormal. So I'm filling out my stuff. I write a werewolf thing? Of course it's paranormal.
I was going to say Harlequin.
Harlequin is its own thing, but I mean, it's literally
horror.
Harlequin. See, that's cute. I like that. But yeah, it's heavier on the romance side. That's just not what I write, So this doing the Kickstarter and kind of leaning into my comics background a little bit, maybe try to get some people that are into comics reading a little bit more fiction. So that's the plan. More on it as we get closer.
No, I've seen lifts. I was going to say lifters. I've seen Reddit posts and I've been through a couple of it because I read a crap ton of fantasy fiction, science fiction, and I can't tell you how many times I've been looking for a new author. It's like, oh, this looks good, and within like the first 50 pages, I'm like, okay, all right, this sucks. This is just all, oh dear, you're a werewolf. Oh, I love you. It's like, most of it's really terrible. So I know that there's a market for you.
See, I won't go there because there's a lot of people that really like that stuff. And I know people that make a good living writing it and they're passionate about it. And the fan base is really super hyped about it.
Well,
it's just not me. Too. But I mean, it's just not. Man, romance dominates. Like KU, the romance writers, they kick ass, man. I mean, the fan base is rabid. They'll just tear up those books and they love them. Yeah. But I can't write it. It's just not for me. I gotta go chase stuff. I gotta do a little bit more legwork to find those kind of readers and bring them in. So I'm excited.
But there's people that are looking for that don't want the romance shit. They want good core horror. So
right. So that's what I'm gonna do. Last time I did a Kickstarter, I wound up with a podcast. So we'll see how this one goes.
This is true. I didn't know rabbits read that much either. Also, I don't. Last time we talked, you had sold your house.
Yes.
But I believe that you have now purchased a house.
Yes, I thought we talked about this. Yeah, we actually. Here's the true story. We had the contract on our house, the new house, before we even put this one on the market. So
okay.
Yeah, it was a time thing.
Yeah, they were a little worried about us because we had a contingent offer, as long as you guys can sell your place. I think this is a fun story. We had the contract to the new place in on a Friday. Our place officially went up for sale Sunday afternoon, and we spent the weekend grinding to try to finish this place. I had a contractor who was finishing the trim in my bedroom, quit halfway through, was like, I can't finish this, and left. So we had able to find, luckily one of my former wrestlers, I didn't know this, is getting his own contracting career started. So he said, hey man, this is all I have. Can you do this? And he was cool, no problem. So we were crunching to get this thing up. It was up Sunday at 2:00. We had our first showing at 8 a.m. on Memorial Day, and we got the kid and the two dogs out of the house at 8 a.m. And we were going to have this picnic in the woods. It was going to be awesome. The 4-year-old doesn't listen. The dogs are old. They don't listen. They're running around. I had to tackle my dog. She bit her tongue and was bleeding. The little kid screaming. By 11 o'clock in the afternoon, my wife and I were sitting on the couch. We're like, we can't do this. We can't do this every time someone wants to look at this house. We were just going to go pack up our stuff and go live with her dad on the farm for a month. And then we got an offer at 4:00.
Nice.
We sold our house in less than 24 hours.
Right. You had said that last time, but I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you had, because I know you posted pictures of your new house on Facebook the other day, so I didn't realize. Excited. Yeah.
We're moving to the country. We're basically trading our mortgage.
Yeah.
So I'm very pumped up about that. It's my internet's gonna suck because it's in the middle of nowhere, but we're gonna make this stuff work. I promise.
Well, it seems to work for John. He's in the middle of nowhere. So.
Are you in the middle of nowhere, John? Where do you you guys? You're in near Philadelphia, so give me some.
Oh no, no. Like I've said before, if you start at Philly, if you just keep going west until it's all horse farms and wheat farms and Amish, that's where I am. My power goes out every time there's a light breeze. So, I mean, I've got a generator and 4 battery backups in my house. So,
got a hunch it's going to be the same for us. We're moving to a town probably about 60 miles west of Chicago, town of 2,400 people.
Wow.
So it depends, It really depends on where you are and how close you are to a substation and as far as internet goes, how close you are to a central office or a hub. So
we're boned. We're trying to get some stuff for my video because I need fast upload speeds, and they kind of laughed at me. So I don't know.
I live in the city, so like if my router goes down, I can actually get the signal from the train station that's about 3 blocks from my house for the wireless.
That's pretty cool.
It's funny because it's through Comcast, and since I'm a Comcast customer, I log in with my Comcast account. So yeah, it's not cheating.
I don't say anything about that.
That's pretty cool.
How about you, John? You do anything exciting this week? Sell any houses? Buy any horses?
I have done nothing.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I'm just kind of dealing with the situation,
Yeah. I mean, we're all, it was Corona, and now we're trapped in our house, for other reasons, and it's not fun.
Well, no, I mean, the other, the single thing now.
Oh,
so,
you know what? That reminds me. Go ahead.
No, just kind of really upset about that, but go ahead. What were you going to say?
So I told you guys that I had started, sniffing around on the internet.
Yeah, watch this. You're already getting engaged, right? I mean, because that's the way it works for everybody else. For me, it's a horror. You should write about me, JD, because my love life is a horror story.
No, I had a very weird experience just today. Okay, so I've talked to a couple women here and there, but like nothing came of it. And then I started talking to this woman this week, and it's the like, hey, how you doing? Blah 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 blah. And then what do you do for fun? And she's like, I like to go to movies and concerts. So I'm like, I asked her what the last movie was she saw, and she's like, I can't remember the last movie I saw in the theater, but I've been watching the Marvel movies on Disney Plus. Are you familiar with them?
A little bit.
It's a trap.
I don't think I've ever had a woman say that she was into the Marvel movies. So
that is some guy in the bottom of his basement named Chuck. that is not that is a trap.
Oh, good.
Trust
I'm glad
me.
I talked to you. Now I know. I don't want to go out with Chuck. So yeah, that's about it. That's been that's the most exciting thing that's happened to me. Oh, no, there is something else. I guess I can announce this. I was going to wait, and put something on Facebook, but I'll say it here first. So I told you guys I give myself little goals for my weight loss. I just hit my next goal. So I'm now, down to 300. So as of today.
From what?
What?
From what?
Yeah, from what? I forget what you started at.
I started at 360.
Goddamn, dude. Good for you.
Dude.
So.
Damn. I've lost 7 pounds in the last month, and I thought I was doing well, but holy crap.
Well, that's not in a month. Remember, I've been doing this for a while now, so.
Yeah, but you're doing it, man.
Yeah. So prunes.
Prunes, yeah.
I've added prunes to my diet. I read something about it, and I'm like, okay. But it's funny, Clay, and I'm not a big fan of them, but I feel full after I eat them, so I'm not tempted to, that's my snack now, and I'm not tempted to eat other things.
They clear out the old bowels, too.
Well, that's true, so.
I've been playing with intermittent fasting, because I was really good at the beginning of the pandemic, and then, the last couple of weeks I've been kind of sloppy. So I've been playing with the intermittent fasting where you stop eating after 8:30 every night and don't eat again until 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty good, actually.
You know what? Mine's the easiest. I had a girlfriend which, took up my time so I didn't snack, and then just sheer disaster, and then I didn't feel like eating. And then you add that with the running, 2 miles a day, and well, you're bound to lose weight that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, depression helps. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how much weight you can lose just by crying a lot?
Oh, trust me, I know. You lose a lot of water weight that way.
It's like sweating.
I know, right? Trip.
Speaking of things that make us cry,
no.
I think it's time to do a little social media madness.
Yeah, definitely makes you cry.
So, of course, we had talked about HBO Max is going to have the Snyder Cut of the Justice League, and I had asked on Twitter if this would make people, are they excited about it? Is it going to make people go out and get HBO Max? And Mr. Mac, who's at Mr. Mac 53, simply replied, no.
I like that. I like that.
And Shadow Walker 1, who's at Shadow Walker 116, said, you know, this whole Snyder Cut for Justice League has awoken a bottle, and now a lot are demanding cuts of other films. The cuts I want in the Power Rangers films uncut. Okay, what I want is the 3 Power Rangers films uncut. 3 Power Rangers films.
Yeah, the old Power Rangers. Well, actually,
geez.
2 old Power Rangers. I think the other one he's referring to is the newer Power Rangers one.
The one we saw in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. But I wanted to bring this one up because have you heard now there's a demand for the David Ayers cut of Suicide Squad?
Oh my God.
And that's starting to pick up steam. Now hold on.
That could be better, actually.
That we know exists because we know that it's been talked about a lot of times is they showed his cut to the test audiences and they asked for changes and then they made the version that we saw in the theater and apparently they cut a lot of stuff out that he did.
Well, they cut, didn't they? I don't remember them saying like they cut a lot because Guardians of the Galaxy did so well that they wanted to make it more like that or something.
Yeah,
yes.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yes, so, that's why they got James Gunn to do the next one.
Jeez. Oh.
So yeah, I mean, I heard someone else say we should start a petition to release the original cuts of the 3 Star Wars movies, the original 3.
Well, yeah, that's never going to happen. Like even with Disney Plus, you can't get the unadulterated, pure, the pure uncut, real, original movie theatrical releases. Like that only exists on VHS tapes that are guarded with people's lives.
Or in your basement.
Well, I don't have any in my basement. I actually know 2 or 3 people that have copies, but it's worth more than their firstborn. So,
here's the thing, right? Like, I have the original cut, and then I did get the special edition when it first came out on VHS, and they've been sitting on a shelf for I don't know how long, and I haven't had a working
VCR by now.
I was about to say, and I haven't had a working VCR in at least a decade. So I have no idea if they still work.
I had them on beta.
Wow.
We had beta. We had a beta till 1989.
That would have been higher quality than the VHS.
Dude, beta's great. I found a true story about 8 or 9 years ago. I found my beta in my attic and I brought it downstairs and I was watching the 2020 Batman special that I recorded in 1989 and I was shocked at how good it looked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Betamax was always better. The only reason VHS one was, I think it was branding or something.
Sony owned the patent too, so.
Yeah, there you go.
JVC did not have it on VHS, so VHS was the cheaper medium.
Yep.
But I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
When I was at Live Nation, I worked for Live Nation Motorsports for a while. We shot all our shows on Beta Cam, which is a higher version of Beta Max. But, we did that till, 2007, 2008.
Yeah, I was going to say I have a friend who's works for Comcast Sportsnet and worked for, what was the channel before Comcast Sports? Prism. And, he told me that in the early days, they shot a lot of stuff, what you just said, Betacam,
Yeah, Betacam was the standard for, video television until the mid-2000s when HD became, when HD TV started to become the norm, then that switched.
Yep. So there you go. Release the non-special editions.
Yeah.
They're coming.
All right. We had also talked about Sony is now in the midst of making a Jackpot movie.
Still don't know why.
And our friend Random Randy Savage from the Cult 45 podcast gave us a GIF of, I can't remember that character's name from Guardians. When he first meets Star-Lord, when you first meet Star-Lord and he shows up and he's like, "I'm Star-Lord," and he goes, "Who?"
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Jaimin Hansu. I can't remember the character's name, but the actor is Jaimin Hansu.
Right. And so that's the GIF. Who? To which I replied, character created in the Brand New Day storyline that no one cares about. Which this is funny. Randy replied, yeah, I mean, it would be cool if what's her name was Jackpot and working a side story for a cause. And it's a picture of Zendaya, who plays, of course, MJ.
Didn't we talk about that?
Yes. So yeah, and then we had James Gorgon, who's at JGorgon346, said, "What's a jackpot?" Randy replied, said, "I did a Google search for jackpot. Jackpot's powers, super strength, and invulnerability. Okay, so she must have a real cool story, right? She looks like MJ, okay? Why?"
That's a nerd joke.
Yeah, So yeah, like, no one knows why. I think there was an original storyline that she was going to be MJ, and the powers at Marvel was like, no, we don't want to do that.
I think you might be right. I think you might have something on that, because otherwise, what's the point of the character? Because like I said last time, the whole point of the character assumes Peter can't recognize his longtime girlfriend / wife.
Right. Well, and I did reply. That's right. I said everyone thought it was going to be MJ in the new reality after Brand New Day. It was a big letdown when it wasn't, and why no one cares about the character. Which she replied with a gif of Chrissy Teigen going, hee. So, I don't know.
Great gif.
Because it's Chrissy Teigen?
Yes.
Well, she's married to John Legend, so.
John Legend's the man. Well done, sir.
Sorry, JD. And then finally, of course, we had talked about Ruby Rose leaving Batwoman, and Uncle Redbeard, who's at Gamer Uncle, said, "Is anyone outside of YouTubers who roast it going to miss it?" And
it's not ending; they're recasting.
I have to say, and that's what I replied. They're recasting, and he goes, "She wasn't the best casting. Obviously, not the only issue with the show. This is one time where rebooting after a short run is strongly needed."
What are you talking about? It was actually pretty damn good.
He never watched the show.
Yeah, he watched YouTube videos where they roast the show.
Okay. Well,
which, that's the whole thing. A lot of times I've noticed these people with really strong opinions about the CW shows tend not to watch them.
Yes.
All right. Well, on that note, that's all our social media madness for the week.
Thank the goddess.
But here's D Squared to tell you how you can get involved with social media madness.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often, because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllStars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
All right, thank you, Don. We appreciate that recording. And on that note, boys and girls, we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right. News, guys. We've got a crap load of DC news. I think we should start with the biggest in the comics news here. DC cuts ties with Diamond Comic Distributors.
Okay. I'm not very familiar with this side of things, but we've talked about this before. So how bad is it?
If you're a shop owner, it's bad. I don't know. It depends. I got to hear a really interesting roundtable on the Word Balloon podcast. John Sontress had it with Rich Johnson and a couple retailers. It was really interesting listening to them talk about kind of where this is coming from. Like, DC has not been thrilled with Diamond for quite some time. Diamond has Diamond has an absolute monopoly on comic book shops.
Right.
Or they did until DC backed DCBS, which is basically Midtown Comics in Manhattan. Now they're going to be distributing their books through Lunar, and I forget the name of the other one. Like, I think Lunar takes the eastern half of the country, and I can't remember the name of the distributor that's going to take the western half of the country. So it's different. Like, now the questions are these places ready to handle distribution for 30% of the direct market? I don't know, man. It's crazy.
I would hope they are. I mean, I would imagine DC worked it out with them and they're ready to go.
Saying you've worked it out with them, because like when I'm here, DCBS actually does a good job for what they do, but this is a big step up in their game, and they've never done it before on this to scale. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, it's one of those things like, people think, oh, this came out of left field, but this had to have been in the planning for a while.
I think the pandemic and Diamond shutting down probably just hastened it a bit. Excuse me. Freudian. So yeah, I do think they've been playing this for quite some time. Like, I've heard a lot of the conspiracy theories that DC complains about how Diamond calculates market share and sales, because the sales that we get released through like CBR every month are not real. They're all based on assumptions, and DC is not happy with that. So they're just, now we're not going to have anything. We're not going to have, like, the sales are never going to be accurate.
This, to me, leads down two questions. Number one, what about Marvel? Because you have to imagine Disney has their own distribution companies that they could distribute the books through. There's really no need for them to have to go through Diamond. So do they follow suit with DC? And what does this mean for Diamond?
DC, or like Marvel, Disney has a history of buying companies and letting them operate, which is kind of what they've been doing with Marvel the past decade.
Which has worked out.
It has. That's what Disney kind of runs it like Rome did. Like, when Rome conquered a country, they didn't make you transfer, like, your they didn't make you worship their gods. They didn't make you change life. You just had to pay taxes to Rome. That's all they care.
I love that analogy. Disney is Rome.
It works. It totally works. Whereas Warner has been more like the Huns, where they've just kind of come in and laid waste. So I think that if they see, I think what this does do is it gives Marvel incredible negotiation power with Diamond.
Right.
Now Marvel, Image too, even Dark Horse can get sweet deals, because, like, all of a sudden if they don't like that contract that Diamond's offering, they can just say, hey, Lunar, how you guys handling this new business model? It's interesting.
No, I totally agree. And that's why I'm saying, then what does this mean for Diamond? I mean, 'cause first off, you're losing 30% of your business.
Yeah.
In a snap, which is always an issue with distributors. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, and like we've said, they've had such a stranglehold on this business for so long. I don't know. This can't be good for them.
No, I mean, you lose 30% of your business, not good. But they've had a monopoly, like an actual, not a virtual monopoly, an actual monopoly on comic book distribution. And there's talk this is DC testing the waters. I don't think there's been talk this is DC testing the waters of just kind of abandoning the direct market altogether. I don't think you spearhead two separate distributors on the hunches of abandoning them in 6 to 10 months or whatever.
So what it's that bottom side of this, like cheaper comics or comics in more different places? Because Diamond was a monopoly. That means that they were probably making decisions about where they could send comics or how much the comics were worth. Like,
I'm not sure about that. Like, because like Diamond only distributes to shops, so like DC's Walmart deal has nothing to do with this.
Right.
Right. DC uses Penguin Random House to print their trades. So Diamond, they have nothing to do with this. So this is literally DC's relationship with LCSs. And I know a lot of them aren't happy because now they have to, retailers don't like big change, which I can't say to blame them because now you have to redo everything and it bucks the system when you get it working like a ship. So I get that. I don't know. To be frank, I don't know if the consumer is going to know one bit of difference.
Well, no, the consumer shouldn't know
right
a bit of difference. It shouldn't matter. Unless it's by some weird miracle the prices drop, but
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that's being set by the distributor at all. So, so you're right. I mean, if it's done right, there should be no notice at all. Unless, of course, though, does that affect the previews book?
Yes, because now DC will not have anything in previews.
Right, because that's by Diamond.
Yeah, that's a Diamond thing. Like these new distributors are literally going to have to build an infrastructure from the ground up that Diamond, because of their monopoly in the business, has had a 30-year head start on. But they're not competitors, right? They're doing differently. If Marvel decided they were going to go half in with Diamond and half in with DCBS, well then now you're talking competitors.
Right.
Right? They're as different as Marvel and DC. Really. They're just two companies doing different things. Although it's terrible because they're actually our competitors. Like, that's a bad analogy. I don't know. Like, I don't think this is. I still think that the comic shop business is in a transformative phase, especially when we talk about what's successful in comics. We always talk about the direct market because that's the news and information we get. We don't see that Dave Pilkington's Dogman books are killing everything that Marvel and DC put out. Like Scholastic, they're the big player in graphic novels.
Right.
I do think that's DC's long-term goal is to focus more on their trades.
Yeah, I do think that's where it's headed. We've talked about that before too. So Marvel concentrates on their trades, like
that's where they make money.
Yeah.
Comic floppies are loss leaders.
Right. That's why the story written so that they're multiple issues now so that they can be collected into a trade.
Right.
So they can make their money off of that.
Right. Because all the work has already been done. You've already paid for the writer. You've already paid for the editor, the artist, the inker, like the colorist. They're all paid for. Like, so you don't matter it really doesn't matter how well you do on the tray, on the floppy, because you're going to make money selling to Barnes & Noble and Amazon.
Right.
Quite frankly, I think it's a better experience. Personal opinion.
Yeah. So we'll see where this goes. I'm hoping, like you said, the consumer won't see a difference. But in other comic book news, so we missed a holiday in the comic book world, of course. May 2nd, the first weekend in May every year. They always have Free Comic Book Day, but this year it was skipped. And of course, Free Comic Book Day is when the big publishers put out some free books to get people interested in comics, so they can go to their local comic book shop and pick up a free book or two. But of course, it was supposed to be May 2nd this year, and because of the pandemic, it was canceled. However, Marvel has announced that their Free Comic Book Day books will be available in July 15th at retailers. So at least people will be able to get them. Hopefully the other publishers will jump on board with this and do it on the same day. What do you guys think?
I think that'd be smart.
Yeah, I mean, do it.
Because you already had it.
I would like some free comics, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. So you're just cheap.
Oh, well, Free Comic Book Day is the best.
Yeah. Well, it's the time when, it's not just like cheap. It's, what things have I not wanted to spend money on that I wanted to check out? It's a brilliant thing, People check out comics that they normally would have spent money on, but then they might find something they like and then they'll continue on with the series.
That's the whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you got to figure before the shutdown happened, which was in mid to late March, Free Comic Days in early May, they already had most of the stuff on the way to being finished. So this was already part of the business plan. You might as well go ahead and do it. You need to give people a reason to get back in shops as the economy across the country slowly starts to open up again.
But with safe Social distancing and masks.
That's the law here in Illinois.
Yes, John, we know. We're not.
I'm just saying.
I don't know, you guys in Pennsylvania, we have to do it in Illinois. Like, if you go inside, you got to wear a mask.
No. Yeah, they're even saying, so I think they're doing it all the states the same way, right? You have areas that are red, yellow, and green.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so like, we've actually had a lot of areas in Pennsylvania go green, but you still have to wear masks, when you go into stores. Philadelphia is still yellow, so.
Yeah, Chicago's actually getting better. The surrounding areas are more on their way to doing well, but I don't know. I think the next few weeks are going to be a little interesting. I'm curious to see how things play out.
Right. So, let's go to some TV news now. These are both related to the CW. Well, there's three. One's related to Disney, but these two are related to the CW shows. First, so Ruby Rose left Batwoman, and they're not recasting her, Kate Kane.
So we're gonna go with new canon now, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're going to create a new Batwoman, a new character to take up the Batwoman mantle and take her place because, and I quote, they didn't want to do the soap opera version of, a seamless recasting. So, yeah, that's what they're calling it. They call it a soap opera thing when they recast somebody and then act like they're the same person.
My mom watched Days of Our Lives. I know what they're talking about.
Yes.
Oh, they did it all the time. Try Bewitched.
Oh yeah, Dick York, Dick Sargent.
Yep.
Sergeant York.
It just looked like he gained more weight. Like they were pretty close.
So,
but
I mean, I personally, I think they're sitting there saying, "Oh, they found a good way to write around the idea, and that's why I created a new character." Blah blah blah. But I kind of wonder, are they doing this to leave a door open for Ruby Rose to return?
Makes sense.
I think, why does it ring a bell? Like that, I feel like that's happened before where a main character went away and then came back. I can't remember though. It's like, it'll come back to me probably halfway through the rest of this.
Oh, okay.
It's still very soap opera to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. And here's a question just from a comic book writing standpoint. Like, she took up the mantle of her cousin, right? Because that's how she discovers the Batcave, so that's how she finds the costume, decides that, she wants to fight injustices, so she takes up the mantle of Batman because Batman's missing, with no explanation. And, lo and behold, now they're going to write, she just left the mantle? I want to know how they're going to explain her absence. And B, does it make sense? Is she a champion that someone's going to want to care to fill the role that quickly?
She got to die to make that work, right?
Yeah. Or they could just, use some of that leftover Final Crisis stuff or Crisis on Infinite Earths. Who knows?
Which is what I thought they were going to do, in all honesty. I thought they were going to.
It'd be hard to shoehorn that in. They might just Doctor Who it and have her regenerate. I don't know. At this point.
Bane solution. Break her back.
Oh.
I mean, it makes sense.
Off screen.
Yeah, off screen. Or you could put anybody. She wears a mask and a wig.
Right.
That could be anyone.
Or she goes to find Batman. They find a really good reason for her to drop everything to go find him. They get an SOS from him or something.
Not very inspirational, but.
I'm spitballing here. Who knows how they're going to handle it? It's just, I'm actually sad to see her go. I don't care what everybody else says. She was a perfect cast for that.
And the only other thing would be if they want to make her the girl in the chair, do it. But she's her back broken by Bane. So that way, and again, part of the reason she said she was leaving, it was longer hours. Well, if she's just the guy in the chair, she only has to probably do a couple hours a day for that stuff. she's not the star, so it's not on her shoulders. There's no physical stuff for her to get hurt again.
Yeah, I still wonder about that. If that's not like more of a reason than they're talking about.
I mean, I think it's got something to do with it, to be honest.
Well, the other reason is they said that there's rumors, I don't know how true it is, that she was difficult to work with. Well,
she even admitted that because she was unhappy with how much time this was taking, like how hard this was to do, that she was not being the best person either.
Right.
So she's all but admitted that, I was pretty terrible.
It's the CM Punk parable. This guy who left pro wrestling, he at the height of his fame left pro wrestling because he was just miserable.
Yeah, and I've been miserable at jobs before, and it's not fun for anybody.
I mean, I think you sign up like, hey, I'll be Batwoman. That's going to be awesome. And then you're doing it, and you're hanging from these apparatus, and you're getting hurt, and it's long hours, and it, like, unlike a film set, it just keeps going and never ends. So, I mean, I could see you going, okay, this sucks. I don't want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially if you come from movies.
Yeah.
Right, where you work a few months and then, you can take time off.
Or switch it up or play a different character. Like, it's hard. TV is more of like a job.
Well, and that's someone
Someone
had pointed that out too, because a lot of the TV stuff that she's done, she's been the secondary characters. So she didn't have as many hours and that kind of stuff, so.
Well, once you face the giant shark, Batwoman is kind of a step down anyway.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, the other thing is too, I think a mistake they could make is going a complete 360 on the character as well.
If you go complete 360, we come back to where we started.
180.
I'm sorry. Do a complete 180 on the character. Forgive me. It's hot. I'm tired. My math is off today. Which would be a mistake, and probably would tick off people and hurt the show even more. So we'll see how it goes. So on other CW TV news, Hartley Sawyer, who plays Elongated Man, or Dibney.
Ralph
Dibney, thank you. On The Flash, has been fired from the TV show. And
now this I actually did research on.
Okay. Now hold on. This caught me by complete total surprise today, because I had no idea this was going on, but apparently this was going on
since Friday.
I was going to say for a few days, and then I think they just announced that he was fired today. So apparently there were some misogynist, sexist tweets that popped up from 2014. Somebody on Twitter screen captured a bunch of these tweets and was tweeting them out, and was basically started the campaign to get him fired.
Actually, here, let me in the text in the chat, go ahead, click on that. I read some of them, not good, man. Not like there's some people that are comparing this to James Gunn, but James Gunn's stuff was like way long ago, and Hartley's was like
6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago, maybe. But some of us, like, his isn't just like, there's a lot there to unpack.
Wow.
Yeah, like, so we're doing an audio of this, and now the audience is, what the hell did he say? And I mean, like, look aside, I don't want to read these. I don't want to read these on. So look aside Jackson, SKAI Jackson. She's an actress who was in movies with Dragon Rider and Dora the Explorer and Jessie and a couple other things. And she's the one that posted these. So just do a Google search for her and Hartley Sawyer and tweets, and you'll see the ones that she posted. And, not good. And, Eric Wall, the showrunner, actually had he posted on Twitter a statement, and I could read it online if you guys want. Is that okay with you?
If you want to, go ahead.
Okay. So he says, this morning, many of you have learned that Hartley Sawyer will not be returning for season 7 of The Flash. Concerning his social media tweets, they broke my heart and made me mad as hell. And they're indicative of the larger problem in our country because at present our country still accepts and protects the continual harassment, unconscious or otherwise, terrorizing and brutalization of black and brown people, which is far too often fatal. That's why our country is standing up once again and shouting enough and taking to the streets to bring about active change. I'm committed to bringing permanent change to the work environment here on The Flash. Yes, this is a family show, but it's for all families. That includes black and brown ones. In order to facilitate this, I will continue to find black and brown writers, directors, actors, producers of all genders to help tell Flash stories. Their stories are part of the American narrative too and must be heard. And the more you hear and see us, the more you will begin to recognize one simple fact: we're human beings too. To those who still aren't sure why so many Americans have taken to the streets to make their voices known, I ask you to consider this. Every time a black or brown life is harassed, harmed, or murdered, as in the case of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and too many others, our entire country fractures and moves further and further away from any moral authority we often claim to have in the world. Murder is not democracy. Systemic and institutional white privilege is not quality. Suppressing the free press with violence is not liberty. The only way for you to be free is for all of us to be free. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. So he didn't really address exactly he didn't address it, but he's like making the statement that this kind of stuff doesn't fly anymore.
I don't know if it flew back then. I mean, these are like,
yeah, I know. Like, these are really bad.
Like, it's like the gun stuff was gross, but it was like stupid attempts at humor. This isn't even trying to be funny.
No, this is like my. I hate to say this is my father at the Thanksgiving table. It's stuff that like you can barely hold yourself in your chair without having to, try not to get up and slug the guy. And it makes me upset because he played like literally the character with the most heart in the Flash. Like
acting.
I know, a good actor apparently, but criminy. I mean, geez. Anyway, that's my take. I'm really kind of, it actually makes me kind of upset and sad.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't read all of them. Because that's the thing is like most of them came off as the ones that I saw were more sexist and misogynist, things that I saw. And it was just like, yeah, again, I don't know. I don't know the guy from Adam.
Think Archie Bunker with no filter.
It goes back to basically, what I said about the James Gunn thing when that happened. Like, these companies, before they hire anyone that's in the public eye, is going to have to look at their social media accounts going forward, right?
Yeah, and again,
everyone's
going to have to be
everyone's going to have to be spick and span, I mean, and that's the thing too.
We've talked about this before. It's like, where's the cutoff date? What level is acceptable up to what year at what age? I don't know. It's going to be hard.
I don't know. I don't know if there's ever going to be an acceptable level, I mean, and let's put it this way, right? Like, there's this weird thing. There's this weird thing with social media that people put stuff out there and think it doesn't matter, and it's like, well, no, the internet's forever and someone's going to find it and someone's not going to like what you say. So just either be careful what you say or say what you want, but then realize it's going to affect you down the line. It's one or the other. You can't have both anymore. You can't say what you want and then go and have a job that's in the public eye like this anymore. Like, that's it.
This is a very, very common problem now. I mean, it's like everybody's dealing with this. A lot of YouTube personalities deal with this. Like, Dave, you listen to Philip DeFranco.
Right.
Right. So, yeah.
He deals with it. Problem. He deals with it all the time because you look at his early stuff, he was a misogynist pig. Right?
Yeah. So it's like, but he deals with it. Like, he continually like refers back to it in his shows now, saying, I was a veteran back then. So, like, that's the good way of dealing with it. But the fact is he works for himself, so it's not so much of a problem for him. Whereas, you know, like you said, like if you're hiring actors, now you have to hire somebody to completely vet them. And again, it comes down to like,
well, and that's another thing.
Just conceptually, James Gunn's stuff, you know, like JD said, wasn't that bad. It was,
it was bad, but it was like trying to be humorous.
Humor.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a while
Gross.
back. Whereas this is just.
And also, you don't. I mean, again, it's Twitter. You don't know. I don't know. It's not.
I know. Yeah, objectively speaking, reading these tweets, there's little left.
But you don't know
really
if there's. You don't. That's the whole thing. My whole issue with Twitter is when you see tweets like that. Like some of them, there's no context to what he's saying. It makes no. They don't make. A lot of them don't make any sense. I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying a lot of them that I read was like, this doesn't even make sense. There's no context to this.
I know, but there's not. It would take a lot to put these in a context that would make them acceptable.
Here's the thing about social media is we've all seen we have random people that reply to us stuff saying strange things every week, but they have some fake name. If you're going to put stuff on social media that's stupid, but you're going to sign your real name to it, I mean, you got to kind of own it. Like if you're brave enough to put your full name on social media, you got to be like, this is what I think, this is what I believe. Right, and understand that even if you delete these things, they live forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in our final bit of TV-related news, it's a good thing. The Mandalorian Season 2 has release date's been confirmed. It will be... Oh, shoot. I don't remember now. Hold on. It will not be delayed. They were done principal photography before the lockdowns. And they are working on the special effects, and they're able to work on those separately, at home, as it were.
Yeah, because guys like us can work from home.
Hey man, it's easy to edit on the laptop these days.
Yeah, and because 2020, they will be bringing back Jar Jar Binks.
So October, it will be
Seventh Seal.
So here's the thing, right? So it will premiere in October. It will be streaming in October. And here's the thing, okay? So the filming was done before the lockdown started, and yet they're releasing drips and drabs of information like Boba Fett is in it. Apparently, Rosario Dawson's in it, and she might be playing Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah,
they're not confirming that. But they know all of this, right? Like, it's not like I didn't realize they weren't still filming. They were done filming when this news was coming out. And then the news was out, and it's like, well, why are they playing this game?
Well, because it drives people to see it.
Manipulation, brother.
And they're doing it well. And they're keeping their cards close to their vest, and that's pretty hard. I mean, you have to admire the sheer tenacity and fear driven to the hearts of people by the lawyer ninjas of Disney.
That is true.
There is to have no leaks on something this big. That is really tough unless you have some big threats.
I don't know. They're pretty good about that. Like the only person that leaks Marvel stuff is Tom Holland.
Yeah, but he's adorable. So
that's what I'm saying. He gets away with it because he's adorable.
I love the interviews with him and Cumberbatch. And just, like, Cumberbatch will look at him while he's talking and, like, start going, when he's starting to say something he's not allowed to.
Right. If Jeremy Renner tried that stuff, they'd have him murdered in the streets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm for sure. Like, not even a question. So, yeah. No, I mean, but that's good, right? Like, we're all excited for season 2. Nothing.
Yeah. I think that... Here's the sad thing. 2019 peaked last December, or 2020 peaked last December when The Mandalorian came out, and it's been downhill since.
Mm-hmm.
You think?
Has one good thing happened collectively on the planet since that came out?
No.
Well, we got 2 people to go to the International Space Station. Oh, wait, that's not on our line. Shoot.
They had to farm it out to do something else. NASA can't do that stuff on itself. We got to have Elon Musk spearheading this stuff now.
But
that's sad.
At least they got to leave the planet.
They did, so we all can kind of envy them a little bit.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
You know where you can't catch the COVID? In space. In space, nobody can catch your germs.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Now we can talk some movie news. So real quick, I bring this up because it makes me wonder something. Apparently, Henry Cavill is still under contract to play Superman and may be turning up in some DC movies.
Why? Why? Just
why not?
No.
He's fine. He's not the problem.
Well, that's true, because in The Witcher, he's actually pretty good.
He is good. He does good stuff.
I'll say this. I will keep saying this over and over again. Watch, what was that spy movie, he was in?
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. Watch Man from U.N.C.L.E., which I still think it's funny that the American was playing the guy with the accent and then he was playing an American. But,
acting.
He is the most charming person ever in that movie. And it's like, why is this not Superman? You know? Like, he can do it. He definitely can do it. But
it's because Zack Snyder kills anything that he touches.
He kills all hope. That's his job.
Yeah.
So
that is literally, but that's what he's good at, and that's what he told you was going to happen in those movies. So
yeah, he's going to make them dark. Yep.
There is no hope. Darkness.
So they're saying that what is it? The
Superman.
The Black Adam film and Shazam 2 he could possibly be turning up in. So
okay. I need to see The Rock as Black Adam fighting Henry Cavill Superman. I have to see this.
You know they've done that in the animation, right?
So yes,
they had a Shazam animation and it had Superman in it fighting Black Adam with the new Shazam.
Yes,
it's pretty good.
And it was damn good.
But now I need to see Henry Cavill versus The Rock. This needs to happen.
Oh yes. They're two big men too.
Yes, the secret. You speak it into existence and it becomes real.
Oh,
this has to happen.
Speaking of Henry Cavill, I'm pissed off at him.
Why are you pissed off at Henry Cavill?
So again, YouTube going down rabbit holes.
Oh God!
I found a Henry Cavill workout video of him preparing for the Superman role, and he was doing a couple different exercises with the kettlebell that I wasn't doing. And there were these like lifts that he was doing with his arms, and I did them, and I hurt my left elbow.
So one must be careful with the kettlebell.
So I'm blaming Henry Cavill because,
Dave, that kind of shape is mostly genetics, right? Like most people, no matter how much Depp could not look like him.
So it's a combination of the right genetics, perfect diet's huge, and then some stuff.
Namely, a lot of money and a good personal trainer.
No.
Money and a good personal trainer, along with
Yeah. I don't know about Henry Cavill.
I think it's all of them.
You think
because they don't look like that all? They don't look like it all the time.
Nah, that's true.
Frank Thomas is my example. Frank Thomas, baseball player of the White Sox, big dude. He's like 55 years old, and he still looks like a tank. Mark McGwire doesn't really look like a tank anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's genetics. Like some of these actors get really big for some of these movies, and you see them again, they're not so big.
That's true.
Genetics helps, though. Don't get me wrong. Like, good genetics helps.
And by the way, John, screw you. Saying what? I can't.
Yeah, screw you. Why are we doing this?
Saying I can't. I can't eventually look like.
At least have a reason if you're going to jump on my back.
Saying I can't eventually look like Henry Cavill or Chris Hemsworth. Come on now. I can at least, get close.
What's that his name? Ryan George. I'm gonna have to. I'd like you to get completely off my back now, please.
You've hurt my feelings, Sean. Anyway.
Oh. So, how can I do that again?
The main reason that I brought this up, right?
Oh yeah, this was the point. You had a point to this. Continue.
I had a point to this. Not only, because there was a whole bunch of fanfare where everyone thought Henry Cavill was out, and it's like, well, no, he's actually still under contract, and we are still planning to make the Shazam movies, and we'd like to have him cameo. It also kind of lends a little weight, not a lot, but a little weight to them wanting Ben Affleck back.
A little bit.
Because if they're good.
Will they get him back?
I think if you write him a big enough check, you get him back.
There is another example of a guy. Never mind.
What? Go ahead, say it.
No, say it.
Ben Affleck physically.
Yeah.
Like in Dawn of Justice, you know what I'm saying?
But he can do it. He's done it several times.
No.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Who? Ben Affleck?
Yes.
Oh yeah. For the accountant for Daredevil for
but the big
Affleck has to be heavily muscled. He gets there.
I have to say though, the biggest he was Batman.
Oh God, yeah, he was a freaking.
yeah.
He looked like a pro wrestler from the 80s.
Yes.
That is one time when I would not be surprised if he was juicing.
He was juicing.
Which actually, it's
he got
funny.
man boobs in pictures now.
It's funny, like it goes back to that whole argument of bulking up or not and juicing or not, but like that is the only aspect of the character that bothered me. It's like he was kind of too big to be believable as someone who could do ninjutsu and jump around and be flexible.
I agree. He looked like Jim Lee's Batman, who as a dude looks like he would tear a quad walking down the stairs. All this is said in a manner of parody. We don't mean any of it for real.
No.
Was Jim Lee the guy who did the Captain America that everybody points out?
That's Liefeld.
Oh, okay.
Do not ever confuse Jim Lee and Rob
Liefeld. Right. Okay.
All right.
Speaking of Batman.
Yes. So JD, you brought this to my attention. There's two things about the Batman movie that we haven't talked about. The one I just found out today. The other being they released pictures of the Batmobile for the movie, and of course that's always a big thing. Is what does the Batmobile look like? What do you guys think?
Oh, I dig it. Looks like a Corvette.
Yeah, I mean it kind of just looks like a muscle car that's got some stuff glued onto it.
Yeah. That's what the Burton Batmobile looked like, and I love that one. So,
I mean, and it's funny because I see people complaining about it, and it's like, now wait a minute. All the comics that I've read from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the Batmobile was just a car, you know, and like maybe had a gadget or two on it, but go to the early days of the 50s and 60s was this big sedan with this giant bat head on the front, you know,
least inconspicuous car ever.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's not the movies is what gave us, you know, the Burton Batmobile, and then of course the Tumbler.
Well, but the Tumbler was workable. Like that made sense.
It does, but it also was something new in 2005 when they unveiled the Tumbler. It was like, oh hey, this is a new take on the Batmobile. I dig it.
Right.
Well, it was didn't we
only take.
It kind of harkened back to the Dark Knight, right? The graphic novel, because he had. I mean, it was kind of like the tank that he had there, right?
A little bit.
So, but yeah, I mean, the Tumbler was definitely different than anything else we've seen. But it was the first one that it made me feel like, yeah, this could be the real Batmobile. This would actually work in real life.
And then the Batman v Superman, I think, was just a take on the Tumbler with a little more sleek, is all.
Yeah.
Tumbler on steroids, if you will.
But it also made it believable that it could be fast. Where the Tumbler, I couldn't believe it being a fast vehicle.
No, I could see the Tumbler like doing small terrain stuff, but I couldn't. Yeah, it did not look like it was built for speed.
My issue, and I talked about this before. My issue with the Tumbler was the only company that made it in that world was Wayne Enterprises. So it would kind of be easy to figure out Batman was at least attached to Wayne.
I thought that it was I thought it was just a prototype that never saw the light of day.
Exactly. That was the thing.
But it's easy, it's easy enough to, you know, find that information out, I think.
Shit, we don't know who's making what. We have no idea what Lockheed Martin has in store for us.
Yeah.
What they're testing.
I'll give the new Batmobile this. It does look like something that he would have put together himself, because the one thing with Batman, the big problem with it is, you know, like the bat cycle, the bat copter, the bat plane, everything like that. It's like
the bat repellent.
The bat repellent, like it's like
repellent.
well, not the bat repellent. I mean, what I'm saying is he's got all these huge vehicles and structures and stuff. who the hell is helping put him together? How many bodies are in the bottom of the Batcave that he had to kill to keep everything?
Sacrifices he made for branding.
Yes, so like this is the Batmobile that looks like something that he would have had to put together himself in the Batcave, so that it did what he needed it to do without having to involve other people.
It's the Bat and the Furious.
But I think they've addressed that in a lot of different, like in the animated series. There was a mechanic he specifically
someone
went
just
to.
blew up an M80 in front of my house, and I just crap myself.
Oh, okay.
What happened?
I think someone just blew up an M80 in front of my house.
Oh, okay.
Scared the bejesus out of me.
Sorry. We didn't hear the explosion. We just heard you jump.
Yeah.
In the animated series, there was the mechanic episode. You remember that one, John? Where?
Wow. It's been a while.
And then, of course, in the Nolan verse, it was Lucius was helping him with the technology.
Yep.
And then Batman v Superman, they show Alfred is the one helping him do this stuff. So, the only argument I've seen against this Batmobile, because you're sitting there saying it looks like something he could build himself. True, but he is still a billionaire. Like, from the time he's a kid to now, he's still got billions of dollars. So, he could have something like the Tumbler, but when he built them himself, it's another story.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's but the Tumbler isn't branded, right? Like, and the Tumbler was like a standard, I mean, it was a prototype, but they could make more of them, whereas this Batmobile doesn't look like a prototype of anything. It looks like a car that, somebody won the Powerball and decided to trick it completely out,
Yeah.
And had to do it was used to doing it themselves in their own garage.
Yeah. I'm still wondering why there's a Knight Rider light on the front.
Cause it looks,
I'll tell you, Michael.
Do you know, or are you just being funny?
No, I'm being funny.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he's got artificial intelligence in there. Perhaps this Alfred is going to be an artificial intelligence system. Let's just rip Marvel off completely.
Well, no, because we already know Andy Serkis is playing Alfred.
But Andy Serkis exists mostly in the digital world. I'm not even sure he's a real person anymore.
Well, it was only a matter of time before Alfred became an AI.
That's what I'm saying.
Jarvis, right?
That was my joke.
So the other thing was this article you shared with me revealed that there will be a Joker in this movie.
In the trilogy, it says.
Oh, in the trilogy. Okay. So, really? Another Joker?
I mean, we've already got 2. Why not 7?
And let's be honest. Who on earth would want to play the Joker at this point?
Either the insane or the complete egotists.
So the Joker.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically, you actually need an actual Joker
to play the Joker.
Yeah, or a method actor. They're kind of interchangeable, really.
You just said the same thing 3 times.
I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Like, everyone, I think, until the end of time is going to be compared to the Heath Ledger version of the Joker. Whether you liked him or not, and yeah, I mean, you end up with poor, what's his name?
Jack Nicholson?
No, from
Jared Leto?
Yeah, Jared Leto.
This is the problem. We can't keep our Jokers straight. There's too damn many of them. Like, that's an issue.
Yeah. Obviously stacked the deck.
Stacked it with Jokers?
Yes, apparently. Well, because you can't count Joaquin Phoenix because, like, that's a thing all onto its own, It's not really a Joker movie in my opinion. But,
what's called? Just,
But yeah, I mean, Jack Nicholson was great, and then, of course, we got the anarchist in Ledger, and then we got I actually watched an interesting video where they were talking about how the problem with Jared Leto is after you got that anarchist, you now got a guy who he was an anarchist who was on the outside of the gangster world, and he was causing fear within them, to now going back to he's just a gangster like the rest of them.
Yeah, I think the problem with this Joker was that, like, it just didn't come off as threatening.
Yeah. He was too crazy to actually threaten. Sure, he might kill you if he sees you, but he was like, the Joker is supposed to be insane, but also an absolute genius. So, and utterly unpredictable. So the menace comes from not knowing what he's going to do. Whereas, like, I don't know, Jared Leto was the emo Joker.
He doesn't. He's a little Joker. Looks like a rapper. He also doesn't really do much for the plot.
No.
Like, he's just kind of in the movie. Like, I still say the movie should have been the Suicide Squad has to kill the Joker.
Yeah. Cesar Romero's Joker was more threatening than Jared Leto. Cesar
Romero is not bad in there. There is really something to Cesar Romero's Joker that is a little spooky, and like, I think he actually did good work with the material he was given. I actually dig Cesar Romero as the Joker.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I was not dissing him. I would not diss Cesar Romero. He did really good in that.
He was definitely the Joker of the time too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you read the books, he was he kind of became a second tier villain for a little while.
Oh yeah, until Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil came back.
And actually made him a murderer again.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
lapping fish changes it all.
Yep. So yeah, that's the Joker of the comics at the time, so it works, that's the whole issue. Yeah, I mean, Nicholson, of course, was the ultimate gangster. Yeah, so here's the quick question before we get to our next topic. Is there anyone right now that you think could play the Joker, or is it we find a complete unknown?
I'd say go with unknown at this point. Like, you need to start fresh. You need to find somebody young, that can play the Joker right. But see, there's the problem though, right? So like, isn't in the current DC movie universe, the Joker's dead, supposedly, right?
He's alive at the end of Suicide Squad. He's alive at the end of Suicide Squad.
Was he? All right. Damn it. Well, then he's Jared Leto. So how do you replace him?
I think this is okay. Here we go. I think this is a different universe because Robert Pattinson is Batman, not Ben Affleck.
Right.
God, all right. So if it's so if you're starting with a young Batman, then you need a young Joker, and it's time to stop calling the same people over and over again to play. Like, you've got so many people playing characters in both DC and Marvel. It's like, bring some new blood in. I'm sure there's somebody out there who can do a much better job than just, finding, I don't know, who was the guy with Ben Affleck in, who was the Bourne guy? Like,
Matt Damon?
Yeah, Matt Damon. It's like, yeah, we'll call Matt Damon because he, then is a known name. I think you get better actors out of casting unknowns, talented unknowns, and letting them invent themselves. And it specifically has to be somebody who's read the comics and understands the Joker.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true.
I'm thinking.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, like, one of the names that always comes up, obviously is William Dafoe. And it's like,
no.
But he already did the crazy villain in the Spider-Man movie. Like, you don't, and he would just be repeating that performance as the Joker. And it's like, that doesn't work.
And he's old. He's 64 years old. Come on.
Of course, another name that's always thrown around and I think would be a horrible choice. I enjoy his movies. I think he's a good actor, but I don't think he could pull off the Joker is Johnny Depp.
No. Too likable.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I really.
And he's a little bit crazy. They might not make it through the filming with him.
Because he is, yeah, I've heard he goes full method. Like when he's Jack Sparrow, he's Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. And again, he's old now. You need somebody like half that age.
I'd like to see Mads Mikkelsen play the Joker. That could be interesting.
Why do I know that name?
He was in Rogue One. He was Hannibal Lecter on the TV show.
Oh, yes.
He's a good actor. I think he could do something interesting with that.
Yeah, that could work. Interesting.
You're
literally just scrolling through people now?
I am. I'm looking up best actor, like the top actors today, and I'm seeing who grabs me.
Yeah, but again, that's the problem, isn't it? It's like, let's go through the same people over and over and over again.
The people that are, yeah, but and I'm not arguing with you because Heath Ledger was an out of left field choice. He had just won the Oscar. I can't remember the name of the movie he won the Oscar for. But I mean, so it was a crazy choice, and he did a great job. But at the same time, Jack Nicholson's great, and he's Jack Nicholson.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But, I know. It seems like when they have the out of left field choices, most of the time they're good.
Jared Leto wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made choices. I don't know if I agree with those choices, but choices were made.
You know, I mean, when everyone said Mr. Mom is Batman.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one of the best.
Yeah. Michael Keaton. People forget how good an actor Michael Keaton was, even at that time, and he just was. I think he was nominated for an Oscar the year before with Clean and Sober. So I mean, like, it wasn't horribly surprising that he was good, but still, yeah, Mr. Mom.
See, the thing is, though, like, again, I'll add to my list here. He's got to have read the comics. He has to be young, has to be a fresh face, has to at least, like, be familiar with, a couple of martial arts. Because I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the Batman that just, like, lands in the middle, in the middle of the day, lands in the middle of the group and just starts fighting. The closest we got was Ben Affleck when he broke into the room and took them out. But we need somebody who can do the real athletics and the martial arts, because that's the whole point of Batman. He's supposed to have mastered every martial art.
But what does that have to do with the Joker?
Yeah.
Well, I want this. I want a good Batman movie.
You're not going to get one, so I don't know why you're complaining.
Adam Driver would be a good Joker, I think.
No, not
He's
him.
a good actor.
Yeah, I know, but no, not him. I don't know.
Oh, just bring Jack Nicholson out of retirement.
Bring him out of Carbonite.
Yeah, I was going to say reanimate him. It's like, jeez.
I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, someone good.
I'm sitting here playing casting agent. Who would I put to play the Joker? And now it's bugging me. The guy from Tiger King.
No, we don't want to go that crazy. Not that crazy.
The guy from 90 Day Fiancé?
I didn't watch that one.
I didn't either, but I keep seeing people talking about it, so, yeah. Anyway, we had promised, our listeners last week that we would do a reaction and review.
Well, we've gone long.
To the new CW show, Stargirl. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I know John's been watching it. JD, did you watch Stargirl?
Well, we'll say yes.
Mostly, yes.
What does that mean?
If we have no further questions, the answer is yes, I watched it.
Did you pay attention to it?
No, I missed it completely. I forgot we were going to do that because of all stuff happened over the last week and a half, and I completely forgot.
Well, then, since John just complained that we're running long, we could save that for the next time.
I think that's a great idea.
I was trying to be subtle, so.
Well, subtlety is not your middle name. So, on that note, do you guys, John, you have any recommendations for our listeners?
I am, there's an anime that's been up for a while called Magi, and I'm actually starting to enjoy it. Otherwise, I don't, you know what? If you haven't seen Mystery Science Theater 3000 and you have like Comcast now, apparently they have the entire, what do you call it? The entire library, like all seasons, all episodes. So now is the time, if you ever liked Mystery Science Theater 3000 to, just, look for it on demand and like just to your heart's content, like fill in all the ones that you've never been able to see before, because some of those episodes were really hard to find.
Cool. All right. How about you, JD?
So, I've been watching Scooby-Doo and Guess Who with my kid. No, it's really good. They took like the Scooby-Doo, movies concept where it was Scooby-Doo and a guest, and they've redone it like with today. And like we were just watching Scooby-Doo and Weird Al, and it was fantastic. And they also did Scooby-Doo meets Batman again, but it was the Kevin Conroy Batman. It's awesome. It's a great, great show. Highly recommend it for parents looking for something to watch with their kids.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. I, of course, will recommend, as always, make sure you go to superheroespeak.com to find the show every week. And comic reviews by our good friend D Square. He actually sent me a couple that I have to put up, so look for those this week. And I'm also going to recommend, we had gotten a message on Twitter, and I took a look at the campaign. So over on Indiegogo, Ahmed Alamin has a comic. It's called The Epics of Enkidu, Enkidu. And it's what's interesting about it is the main character, the hero of the book, has autism. So it's written to celebrate people with autism. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So it seems like a really cool book. Definitely go check it out. There will, if I remember, there will be a link in the description below, and it'll be like 3 more days left on it when this episode comes out. So let's check it out. And also, don't forget, if you haven't yet, like JD, make sure you watch Stargirl. Nope. So we will be talking about it next week.
Barring anything interesting happening. Okay, so probably the week after that then. This is 2020. We never know what's going to happen.
Oh, exactly. I will just say, if you haven't watched it, you should be watching it because, wow, it's good. All right.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes. We can make JD feel bad. Anyway.
It's not possible. One has to feel before they feel bad.
Oh, okay. On that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for listening. Don't let your kid get caught in the door. Have a good week.